Hey everyone, this is Chris Bolts coming in with a review of Disney Snow White. And yes, I say Disney Snow White because this is a Disney production. Not Disney is another term I like to use. But before we get into the review, make sure you do like, share, subscribe, turn on those post notifications so you'll be notified when I go live or post a video like this one. Now, getting into the review of Disney Snow White, what I will say right off the bat is this movie is not as bad as I thought it would have been, but it definitely is not good. It is boring, it is generic, and it's formulaic. And right off the bat, if you just want to know my score of the movie, I gave it a 6 out of 10. So going further on, this movie right off the bat was going to be getting away from the original movie, the 1937 classic that is timeless and that is loved by many generations of individuals around the world. It's the movie that basically saved Disney from collapse. When the movie starts out, and by the way, there will be some spoilers here, but I don't think any of you guys would really care that they're spoilers because I don't think any of you guys are going to go see this movie. I really wanted to go into this movie hating this movie because of all the outside influence that was going on. And so I know some people want to say that it was because of political issues. No, the entire issue with this movie was because of one woman and one woman only, and that was Rachel Zegler. Rachel Zegler really set this movie up to fail with a bunch of those things that she said, talking, and I would say it's not even so much that she was talking bad about people she disagreed with politically. It was because she talked really bad about the original movie. There was no humility and no gratitude for being able to star in a movie that is based upon this timeless classic that is so revered and should have been revered, frankly, by Disney themselves, but obviously they didn't revere it because they went on ahead and decided to make this movie Disney Snow White. And like I said, right off the bat, this movie has to deviate from the source material, and it's primarily because of who was cast as Snow White. We all seen Rachel Zegler. Her skin is not as white as snow, which is why she gets the name Snow White. No, instead, in order to justify her having the name Snow White, the movie starts off by saying that the king and queen had wished for a child, but they made it seem like they were not able to conceive of a child until this one magical day. And it was snowing, and the queen gave birth. So this little girl was born on a day when it was really snowing outside, and thus her name is Snow White, which frankly is a cop out. It doesn't really work, and it really doesn't serve as a really good explanation as to why a brown girl is named Snow White. So to me, casting Rachel Zegler as Snow White was always a mishap from the get-go. And it really starts to show, and it started to show as the movie progressed and gone onward. And anyone who really, you could tell that there were times when Disney were probably trying to reshoot this to try to make it fit and avoid certain narratives and everything like that. At times, the movie wanted to be like Cinderella, and you guys will pick this up when you're watching this movie. It's like they're doing homages and member berries to other Disney princesses. Sometimes they're talking about you feel like there's Cinderella off in there. Other times you feel like Sleeping Beauty. And other times you even feel like there's Little Red Riding Hood off in there. And it feels like there's even Disney Pixar Brave off in this film. So it's kind of a clash of different types of movies all fit into one. Truthfully, Rachel Zegler's performance was not all that bad. I thought she would have been the weak link in this movie, but actually no, she wasn't. I think her presence in the movie was okay. She definitely can sing. She's a beautiful singer. And she's a very cute little girl. She's a very cute little girl and can be likable if she learns how to control her outside presence. You know, she needs to take lessons from her co-star Gal Gadot, who, by the way, I thought was the weaker link of this movie. I didn't like her portrayal as the evil queen. Her acting is very flat. It's always been flat. It's been flat since she showed up as a showgirl in Fast and Furious. I don't find her to be a compelling actress. She was okay as Wonder Woman, but even there, her performances are just always the same. It's always Gal Gadot in any of these movies. She's similar to who's a similar actor? The Rock. Dwayne Johnson. They play the exact same roles regardless of what movie they appear in. So that's the same thing here with Gal Gadot. Her performance as the evil queen was just flat and forgettable. I thought Rachel Zegler actually shined a bit as an actress. I was pleasantly surprised by her performance. The songs that were performed, "When You Wish Upon a Star," they did not play "When You Wish Upon a Star" or when the song for the Prince. They didn't play that song or anything like that. A lot of the songs in the movie seemed too modern for this movie, and they are utterly forgettable. What else? The special effects. I like the practical effects. It was obvious that at least for the castle, they used some practical effects, which was pretty good. I like those. The special effects. When you see all those specially animated animals, they just look offsetting and off-putting. When the dwarves show up, they do look kind of out of place. They didn't bother me as much and everything like that. I think Dopey was the weirdest looking one, but I think the actors who portrayed the dwarves did a pretty good job. The voice actors, they really should have tried to get actual dwarves. They should have told Peter Dinklage, who really ruined this movie also by opening his mouth about dwarfs being misaligned or some dumb nonsense in the movie. But Disney should have really just reneged on whatever promise they made to not have dwarven representation in the movie. They should have just went on off in the head and cast some dwarves off in there. Could have asked Peter Dinklage, "Hey, you opened your big damn mouth. Why don't you come star in the movie?" You know, I think it would have behooved Disney to actually get real life dwarf actors to come in and play these roles as opposed to doing computer animation. Oh my goodness, when they made they make Dopey talk, and it was just cringe. It was really cringe hearing him talk. They should have just kept him silent. That was what made his character. This is another thing about getting away from the source material. That Dopey not talking is what made his character. That's what made him who he is. But the minute he opened his mouth, he became something completely different. Now, a lot of people who might be worried about whether this movie is woke or not, well, if you consider race swapping woke, then yes, it's woke. If you consider intersectional feminism to be woke, which this movie has, then it's woke. And because they had to change the entire story. They really didn't want this to be a movie where the girl was saved by the prince. I'll get into that in just a minute because I tried to get back to it. But because they didn't want this to be a movie where the girl was saved by the prince, where Snow White was saved by a prince, they instead turn her into the leader that everybody's been waiting for. Kind of like a Barack Obama type thing where we are the change we are been waiting for. And she's like, I'm the leader that everyone's been waiting for. She always wants to be that can do. I need to go with you. I need to help you fight. I can fight. I can do things. I don't need anybody. They even say that makes something that where she doesn't need anybody. And it just, so they decided to go down that route. But the reason why I say I wanted to circle back to the Prince angle is because they do try to fit that back off in there. They do try to fit that back off in. It's pretty clumsy because it doesn't work within the entire frame of the movie. I kind of always wondered, even with the original, why in the world would you take something from a stranger that looked very suspicious and menacing and up to no good as the witch in the black cloak? That was pretty much the same thing here. It's just that scene just was completely out of place in this entire movie, because if she's a girl, if Snow White is a girl boss now, and she's the person that needs to be a leader and needs to go and get the crown and save the kingdom from the evil queen, why would she sit there and take an apple from someone that she only met for the first time? That was pretty stupid on her part. But she does bite the apple. Okay. She does go into an eternal sleep, and not the prince, but a bandit. Because remember, I don't know if you guys remember when during this whole controversy about the Doors, they said they were going to be replaced by 7 diverse people. Well, those 7 diverse people turned out to be bandits, and the lead bandit happens to fall in love with Snow White, so he does give her the true love's kiss and wakes her up from the slumber. So I really like that they actually did go back there. I really appreciate when Hollywood is trying to get back to the more traditional heterosexual relationships and romances. I like that in the movie. I like that Snow White, that it kind of made Rachel Zegler a liar, because there's a video of her saying that being chased by a prince was kind of stalkish and off-putting, and that she will not be saved by the prince. Well, she got saved by a bandit, so she got kind of turned into a liar on that part, which I'm thankful for. That probably was a reshoot by Disney, because I don't think they really wanted that off in there. I think they needed to, over time, they with a lot of the controversy that was coming along with this movie, they decided that they needed to go back in there and take a lot of that girl bossness out of there, and try to put as much of the original source material that they can within the rewritten story that they could possibly put up off in there. And so I think that was thrown in at the last moment, but I'm thankful that they did that, because it was very touching. It was very nice. It was very good to see that heterosexual romance just building there. I really like that. I actually think there was really good chemistry between Snow White, Rachel Zegler, Snow White, and whoever played that handsome bandit. So I really appreciated that. Again, overall, like I said, this movie is not a good movie. It really is not one of the better remakes. I really wish someone at Disney had said, you know something, maybe we shouldn't actually go in there and my phone just went off. Maybe we shouldn't actually go off in there and mess with Snow White. We should actually have a little more reverence for the one cartoon, the one animated feature, the one project that actually put Disney on the map and saved them, and actually was so responsible for turning Disney into the current entertainment behemoth that it is. But nope, everything is up for monetization with Disney. Remakes is what they want to go ahead and do, and just frankly, it really doesn't work as a live action. I did like some of the set pieces, drifting so far away from the source material because you feel that the timeless story of a girl being saved by a prince, waiting for her prince to come and save her, is old and outdated. Really did not work. I think if you would have had faith in that, a lot of women still want to have that prince come along and save them. A lot of women like to be romanced, and a lot of men love to do romancing. You gotta have trust in yourself, Disney, and in the American people and just in people in general about the type of stories that they want to be told. A lot of people are tired of the girl bossness, and that didn't work out to the favor of this particular movie, and it was boring. I think I fell asleep for about 15 minutes. So I fell asleep at the time when Gal Gadot started singing. By the way, she can't sing. Her singing sucked. When she started singing, I fell asleep at that point, and I think I fell asleep and stayed asleep during the time when Snow White met up with the Bandit camp. But I did wake up in enough time to see the remainder of the film, so I will be honest in that regard. It's very generic. It's a by the numbers story. It does try to follow the plot, but of course it deviates a lot because it has to do that precisely because of who they cast as Snow White, and they wanted to get away from that Prince story, and so it came in at about an hour 49 minutes, so it wasn't that long. I think that's pretty good time and everything. Again, overall 6 out of 10. I'm gonna be honest here. If you have a family and you want to see it once, I would go at matinee. I would not go at a premiere time, and I would not watch it in a premiere theater. I saw this in our local premiere theater. It's called Cine XL with Harkins. That's where I saw it. My theater was I'd say it was about 45% capacity. That's on a Thursday on opening night. So I think that was about the reasonable type of performance Disney should probably expect with this movie. But again, if you got a family, or if you actually have a girlfriend or a wife that you want to take to this movie, frankly, I would take them. I would take them to go see this movie. I think it's worth at least one watch. It was not as bad as at least as I thought it would have been, based on all the backstory associated with this movie, all the controversy with this movie. It's not as bad as the 47% that's on Rotten Tomatoes. It definitely is not going to be a 9 out of 10. Well, again, like I said, 6 out of 10 for me. But you guys let me know what you think. Have you guys seen Snow White? Will you be going to go see Snow White? Jump down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the movie. And remember to make sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on those post notifications, because all that stuff really does help me out. And this is Chris Bolts signing off. And I will catch you in the next video. You guys take it easy.